The JSE is weaker so far today, with global peers mixed and investors focus turning to policy decisions by the European Central Bank and the South African Reserve Bank. Gary Booysen is portfolio manager at Rand Swiss. He's with us now to talk about all of this. Gary, welcome to Daytime Update. I want to pick up on the issues around the Rand that's been weaker against the dollar, ahead, of course, of that briefing by the MPC later. Why exactly is it performing in this way, and was it expected? Gary, are you able to hear me?
Sorry, yeah, I didn't get that question.
Fantastic. I was just asking about the movements of the Rand, weaker so far today. Of course, we're waiting to hear from Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago on the outcomes of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. Was it expected to be weaker opening today, and what's driving that?
Well, I think it's probably just trading water ahead of the announcement. So at the moment, it looks like if you look at the forwards, it seems to be pricing about a 50% chance of a 75 basis point increase. I think our base case is that we will also get a 50 basis point increase, so it's a 0.5% up. But I guess it's maybe just not enough, given the very hawkish stance that's being taken by global central banks. Our real interest rates are in a lot better shape than some of our developed market peers. But I suppose with the ECB potentially going to unveil an anti-fragmentation tool and lifting their interest rates probably by 25 basis points for the first time since 2011. I guess capital is a competitive market, and carry trade in a risk-off environment and the difficult environment that we're seeing at the moment, potentially carry trade is pulling some cash out of South Africa. Finally, also we've seen the commodity prices are falling today, so the commodity index, or at least the resource index, is the hardest hit of the subsectors of the JSE, and we know that the currency is also very, very sensitive to, like the South African currency anyway, it's very sensitive to commodity price moves.
So a lot of nervousness at the moment ahead of that briefing, that update on the repo rate by the MPC today, especially when you look at the inflation data for June that was out yesterday. Just how tight, or how much tighter, in fact, do you expect the squeeze to be?
It's a good question. So I think, I think it's going to be very, very tough for consumers, going forward. It's, we've had obviously supply disruptions thanks to COVID. We've had, enormous shifts in the commodity landscape thanks to the Ukraine war, and just, I suppose, very, very tough couple of years. So I suppose the good news is that commodity prices are starting to fall. And that's both soft commodities and, minerals, energy to an extent as well. The oil price has moderated from its worst level. So that's not being reflected yet in the underlying economic data, but economic data is backward looking. So with commodity prices falling, we might get a little bit of relief. But I think, everyone is well advised to be a little bit more conservative in the face of increasing interest rates and a very tough operating environment.
Let's talk about something else. The Public Investment Corporation that sold its entire stake, in fact, in Premier Fishing and Brands. Why now?
Well, I think obviously Premier Fishing is one of the Iqbal survey companies, or at least he's got a significant stake through his stable. But we've seen that the banks like Standard Bank, Nedbank have been just distancing themselves from Iqbal survey companies. So this could be part of that. Just trying to maybe put a little bit of distance between them. It does look like it's being sold for 3 Laws Capital, which means that we may potentially see Premier Fishing being delisted from the exchange.
Finally, then, one group that, despite its bookkeeping troubles, appears to be doing well is Oceana. Why is it that they are still, shall we say, somewhat unaffected by their troubles?
Well, it was voluntary trading statement out, and it did look like volumes are picking up, which is obviously a good thing. I don't know if this is just in the tougher environment, people switch their protein source from chicken to fish. Looking at it, they also announced that they would be changing auditors. So this could potentially result in a delay of their financial results. The company has been in a little bit of trouble recently. So nice to see volumes picking up, but I think that announcement was also just to potentially warn the market that results could be delayed.
Gary, so good to speak to you. Thank you very much. Gary Booysen speaking to us, Portfolio Manager at Rand Swiss.